Welcome back to Close Up. Matt Mayberry has a bio tailor-made for a Republican primary. He's a veteran, a longtime GOP activist, and he puts on gun shows for a living. The only thing he's lacking in the race to take on Congressman Chris Pappas is the backing of President Trump. Matt, thanks for joining us today. The president, of course, the head of the Republican Party, he's endorsed your opponent in this race. How do you survive and thrive and win in that kind of environment?
I not only survive, I thrive. I have the backing of 2 New Hampshire governors, 2 speakers of the House, 5 former Senate presidents, over 500 New Hampshire residents. I'm the guy who's lived in New Hampshire for 35 years. My opponent, Mr. Mowers, moved here 6 months ago. So I support the people of New Hampshire, and I believe in the power of New Hampshire. Let New Hampshire voters decide New Hampshire elections.
You mentioned the relative newcomer status for Mr. Mowers here. That's actually become a bit of a trend. You have Scott Brown, Walt Havenstein to a certain extent on the Republican side. The Democrats just went through this in 2018 with Morris Sullivan. In some ways, this is kind of becoming the new normal that New Hampshire people have someone from away on the ballot. Do you think it still matters to them?
Of course it does, because all those folks you just talked about failed in their efforts. New Hampshire wants someone who understands them. I support, homeless children. I work for the Salvation Army. I was Commissioner of Human Rights for the state of New Hampshire. I'm ingrained in the fabric of New Hampshire. All those folks you just named all had one thing in common: they failed. And Mr. Mowers will, he'll probably have the same fate. Let's put it that way.
What do you think will be the consequences if this becomes the norm for the Republican Party? Is this a bad precedent for the President of the United States to play in a primary like this?
The President of the United States can weigh in on anyone he wishes. He has an opinion. He can push out that opinion. What I have a challenge with is when the RNC takes a position on that and helps another candidate. But though, Adam, that's all right. I have 400 volunteers. We've been going to sign locations. I did the Brentwood Parade. I was the Londonderry GOP the other night. I'm going to the Hooksett GOP. I'm going to do this the grassroots way, the New Hampshire way, because the one thing I haven't that no one else does, I'm putting New Hampshire first. And that is my motto. I'm going to live in that space.
We mentioned your business in terms of putting on gun shows. Do you think the Second Amendment issue can become something in this primary? Are you going to try and I watched your digital ad. It's clear you're bringing it up in terms of your opponents, coming from New Jersey. They have different gun laws there. Do you think that's going to matter to primary voters?
Absolutely, because it matters to Americans. Adam, again, in putting New Hampshire first, I want to expand our Second Amendment rights. I want a 50-state carry permit. I want a nationwide concealed carry reciprocity. I want a nationwide stand your ground law. I want to remove the restraints upon suppressors. I want to expand our Second Amendment rights, not restrict them.
So I believe you were the first candidate to return to in-person campaigning here. So far, so good for New Hampshire, obviously, in terms of numbers on COVID-19, but that could change. When you went into this, it was a little less certain in terms of getting back to that in-person stuff. Were you worried at all about transmitting the virus or creating an environment where more people could get sick?
It comes down to, personal freedom and personal liberty. That, during the pandemic, during the height of it, I delivered face masks to Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department. I delivered over 200 meals to the Stratford County Meals on Wheels program. I took 200 gallons of hand sanitizer to our first responders and to our fire department, because you either can step back and watch. My opponent spent lots of time just tweeting about it. I actually stepped forward and did something about it. I helped the people of New Hampshire because, once again, I'm putting New Hampshire first.
You mentioned your involvement in helping out Sheriff's Office there. You've been very active lately in organizing some of these Back the Blue sort of displays of support for police. Describe for us, why is that important to you in this environment where so many people are saying, okay, well, let's pay attention to the Black Lives Matter movement, that you're going to side with the police?
Adam, one of my best friends, I have his challenge going right here. He's a deputy sheriff. He wears a bulletproof vest to work every single day. We ask our law enforcement to deal with opioid crises, horrific crimes against children, that we deal with traffic accidents. When you come out and say defund and dismantle police departments, that's wrong. We ask an awful lot of these men and women. A lot of them also suffer from PTS. We need to help them. And just by saying thank you we're not excluding anyone. We're just including our law enforcement folks. We stand out there and we just say, honk for cops. Thank you, law enforcement. We're not singling anyone out. We just want to include everyone. And I stay on that thin blue line with them proudly, strongly, and do all I can to help them. Again, we should just say thank you.
Are there any reforms that you would like to see in terms of law enforcement accountability?
I think when we talk about, body cameras are a good thing. More training is always good. I was the Commissioner of Human Rights for the state of New Hampshire, so I understand that discrimination does happen in our great state, unfortunately. Education is key to everything. Communication is even more important. We need to sit down, talk with each other, and work together.
So what about the Black Lives Matter movement itself? Do you see that? I mean, the governor's taken that movement and embraced it here. He's brought it into the new commission that's being organized. Do you support Black Lives Matter?
Absolutely. I think anytime we talk about making lives better for everyone in the state of New Hampshire, that's a good thing. But it's that constructive conversations that move our state forward. If you're looting and rioting and destroying property, that's where the conversation ends. So as long as we're talking to each other and working with each other, then we're going to continue to have the best state in the nation.
Your background also includes quite a bit of business experience. If you're going down to Washington in 2021, are you going to be working to dismantle some of the tariffs that this administration has set up on trade? And essentially, Republicans in the past have been anti-tax. A tariff is a tax on trade. So you're going to support those when you're in Congress? Well,
Adam, trade and exporting is a $5.8 billion industry here in the state of New Hampshire. I want to do all I can in Washington, D.C. to expand those opportunities for our small businesses right here. And as a veteran, I want to make the quality of life better here in the state of New Hampshire. I came out very recently with, I would ask members of Congress to get their health care from the VA system, because I think it's broken. And the fastest way to fix it is to get those responsible for it participating in it.
Do you believe, as the president believes, that absentee voting amid this pandemic is going to open up opportunities for fraud?
I think the wholesale mailing of ballots out to the mass populace is fraught for corruption. But if you feel safer getting an absentee ballot, as we've had for generations, get that absentee ballot, vote absentee. But the wholesale unsolicited mailing of ballots, that's a bad thing for our state and our country.
Do you have confidence, though, in the New Hampshire elections, the way that they're heading right now?
Very much. I voted in New Hampshire for 35 years. So I trust our system. I trust Bill Gardner. We do a good job. But again, that wholesale mailing of ballots to empty mailboxes, not a big fan of that.
All right, Matt Mayberry, thanks for joining us on Close Up. We'll see you out there on the campaign trail.
Adam, thank you for the opportunity. Have a great Sunday.
All right, you too.